At old style classics, baseball cards, and other cards and hobbies. And welcome to my channel. It's September 2nd, 2024. Looks like we got 21 days to go before my 1 year anniversary here on old style classics baseball cards. So, hey, it's Sunday morning, Labor Day weekend, 1:22 a.m. But you know what that means? Even though it's Labor Day, it's still Minor League Amateur Card Monday. So I've got two episodes for you today. Um, the first one's going to be in honor of college football season. So this will be a really quick one, mostly because I don't have all but one little set to show you. I've got a duplicate of it, but it's just the one. So I'm going to show that in honor of my New Mexico Lobos. Just more than not a very bad college football team. Now they did have some success, I believe in the late 90s, early 2000s, with Rocky Long as their coach. Got them to a bowl game for the first time in like 60 years or something like that. And then they made it to a few bowl games, and they finally won one, and they couldn't get past that point, so the coach bolted and went to San Diego State, and they've never recovered since then. But they brought some of those guys back, so like Brandon Mendenhall or whatever, Brendan. So anyhow, now this year they played two games. They lost to Montana State, an FBS school, after leading like 34-6, and they ended up blowing it with 10 seconds left. The first game, but they're scoring at least, so we'll give them that. And then yesterday they had to play old rival Arizona, but Arizona's ranked number 21 in the country, and we're probably ranked like 400 and something. So we're bound to lose that game, but we held our own. We were actually right with them. I think we led for a while, and it was like 36-34 or something like that. So we were hanging in there, and then like the last 10 minutes happened, like the last quarter happened, and they ended up blowing us away, 50 something to 34. But nevertheless, got some maybe some brightness in the future, and the fact that their offense is playing good now. So I know most people aren't going to be super interested in this, maybe some Albuquerque and New Mexico people, but I'm going to do it. And here we go. So it's a team set they gave away at the football stadium. And here we go, New Mexico football. And this is from, I got two sets here, so let me look at this one. While you guys look at that, this is 2002, I believe. Doesn't even say who the printer is. We'll call it First State Bank. All right, people. So anyways, yeah, so today we, since I got a little time here, we went to the New England Lobster Shack or something up in Burlingame, right next to the bay, and we've met some friends, our friends from the Ukraine. Got to meet them up there, and they like seafood a whole lot, and so they sell like lobster rolls, crab sandwiches, shrimp, peeled and shrimp, and lobster tails and all that stuff. And they have a it's really good place. It's expensive though, but it's one of those places where you can go in and get tanks with the tanks and get the giant lobsters, like just humongous. Take them to go, but they have this like lobster bisque. It's so good. It's some kind of like lobster chowder, corn chowder, and it's just epic. But if you can hear my voice, it super bloated me. I got super bloated. Drank too much water. ate a bunch of that stuff. And so sorry about my voice, people. So don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a message, and share this with other people who might like this stuff. And you might want to speed up your setting on the video to like 1.25, 1.5 speed to make me sound a little normal. Alright, so what we got here is, it looks like 2002 New Mexico Lobos. So hang on a second here, let's see how they did. Alright folks, yeah, so this team was led by Rocky Long in the Mountain West Conference, with Brocco Mindenhall as their defensive coordinator, and now he's the head coach. And they went 7-7, but they were 5-2 in the Mountain West, and they ended up in second place in the Mountain West, at least in their division. And they did go to the Las Vegas Bowl and lost 13-27 to UCLA. And yep, let's see here. Played NC State, lost. Weber State won. Lost at Air Force. Won at Baylor. That's amazing. 23-0. Lost at New Mexico State. Lost to Texas Tech. Beat UNLV. Lost to Utah State. Beat Utah. Beat San Diego State. Beat BYU. Lost to Colorado State. Beat Wyoming. And then lost to UCLA. Sam Boyd Stadium, Whitney, Nevada. So this team was a 500 team throughout the season, but had a pretty decent year in the Mountain West and beat some pretty big schools there, so that's kind of interesting. So anyways, we got Terrell Gordon there, Brandon Gregory, Jake Farrell, Dwight Contier, whatever, Justin Milou, Desmond Black, Casey Kelly, I remember him being the quarterback. He was good. David Crockett, and then David Hall, Joe Manning, Quincy Wright, Shannon Kincaid, Charles Moss, Jesse, whatever his last name is, Claude Terrell, Brian Pillay, Nick Spiegel, Hebrews Jones, Joshua, Daniel Keeger, and DJ Renteria. So I remember him. And I had to go to this game, folks, because, and Casey Kelly, I had to go to this game because there's no way I would have picked up these cards anywhere else. So, and then they are kind of landscape on the back. So it doesn't have the maker or the mark or anything like that. We're just going to go with the bank. So Casey Kelly, he was a good quarterback. I don't know if any of these guys made it up into the NFL. Now the Lobos are most famous for Brian Urlacher, NFL Hall of Famer and great. DJ Renteria there. And so Brian Urlacher went to the Lobos around a couple years before this, because I had him in a class of mine, like a geography class or something like that. So needless to say, this was around the time they were actually having some success. So it either came right after this point in time, or this is when they kind of fell back apart, and then the coach ran off or took off because getting pressured to do more. And so there you have it. So I do have 2 sets of these. Sorry, it's a little most people aren't going to know any of these people, and it's probably more Lobo fan kind of thing here, so I'm not going to expect a lot of views on this one. But needless to say, this is the only New Mexico Lobo football cards that I have that I know of, at least in these forms, these little poster. Now they're perforated, you could break these out if you wanted to. Funny story, since we're only at 10 minutes, I was at one of the antique shops over here in Niles, California, which is part of Fremont, which is about 15-ish miles from here. They have a whole area called Niles, and it's like a street, and it's just a bunch of antique shops. And I was going through there one time, and I happened to just be looking at some cards that somebody had sitting on something, and they had some New Mexico Lobo. I don't know if it was football or basketball cards, and it was just some random person like this guy, never made it to NFL or whatever. And the people were trying to sell the card. It was a Lobo card, which was funny for me, of all places, to come across one. And they were trying to sell it for like $5 or $10 or something like that. And I was like, you gotta be kidding. I mean, if this had Brian Urlacher on it, maybe that card would be worth that. But yeah, I thought that was funny. So it's funny, the kind of things you'll run into in other states. All right, everybody. Sorry about my voice. But yeah, these were pretty fun when they started getting good. But at the same time, because they were focusing on the football team and they were remodeling one end of the stadium's pretty horrible. There's just no room to move. But they're remodeling the end zone to make like general admission, and then they were building like a whole facility on the other end where the workout room and locker rooms and all that stuff. Because they were doing that, they let the basketball team kind of go, not go, but they neglected the basketball team. And if you know anything about New Mexico sports, New Mexico University of New Mexico Lobos, the basketball team is like 90% of everything. There's the basketball team and then everything else. So it's like 90%, all the people care about is the basketball team, and then the 10% is everything else. And I'm not just talking everything else at the university, everything else in the state. Like, as far as sports go, it's not like Texas where it's a big high school football or basketball or any of that, and then all these basketball teams like the NBA D League tries to come in, or some of these other minor leagues, and people just don't care. All they care about is the Lobo basketball team. So it was really weird for about 8 or 9, 10 years there that the university really let the basketball team struggle, because they knew they could get more money from football, I guess, because the stadium's bigger. But I don't think that worked out for them, and we've been spending the last decade, the basketball team's good again, but we keep losing coaches and stuff like that. So they've been good, but not to the level they used to be in the late 80s and early 90s. So that's a shame, and it's just weird how long it takes for a team to bounce back sometimes, because not North Carolina or one of these teams where these guys are going to come to, because they'll go to the NBA for sure. But nevertheless, that's my little rant. So yeah, they're pretty neat. I'd always pick up a couple. And I got a bunch of the basketball. Some guys that made the NBA and stuff like that will be showing up. But there you have it. All right, everyone's a Lobo. Woof, woof, woof. All right, to my Lobo fans, there you go. So that's probably more of a boutique episode specific to Lobo fans. Now, granted, the Albuquerque Isotopes baseball team gets a lot of coverage now. They have a lot of fans, which I'm going to be showing you some of those cards in the next episode right after this for Minor League Monday. And the hockey team, they used to have New Mexico Scorpions, did pretty good. And then now there's the USL soccer team, the New Mexico United, which get a lot of attention. But basically that other 10% that I'm talking about, you could split that up between those teams. And if they're doing really good, then maybe it bumps it up a little bit, especially when the basketball team was bad. But for the most part, yeah, that's New Mexico. If you want to understand at least central New Mexico, um, Lobo basketball, that's the big important thing to those to people. And it may be down in Las Cruces, then it's New Mexico State, and that's probably basketball as well. So New Mexico is definitely more of a basketball state. Not a lot of big burly dudes in baseball and football and all that. So they struggle to get people to transfer or come out there to play football, or it's kind of the middle of nowhere, especially if you want to make it to the NFL. All right, everybody, thanks for watching Old Style Classics baseball cards. All right, I'll talk to you in a bit. See you.